So let me share some information, and thank you all for coming. All right, let's see here. So let's see. So this is what Keedy just sent. Brother Keedy. And so that was introduced in 2006, huh?
That's correct.
Wow.
If you can read the introductory paragraph.
So the Karas Ma'at Kwanzaa is an observation introduced in 2006. It is a 12-day ritual and observance that begins on December 21st to coincide with the winter solstice. The first day is known as the Day of Mat, this being an ideal time to become still, quiet, and observant, to get into balance and order. This is a very chaotic time of year and frenetic energy everywhere, from the roads to the stores to even homes. Yet during this time of the year, there is stillness cosmologically. As above, so below, the ritual helps us to align with the potentiality of this period so that the new year can be experienced as a new beginning and a new birth.
There you go.
All right. Well, Asante Sana for that. That's
absolutely.
That's outstanding. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now I wanna go into this PowerPoint. How did you know that I was going to have a PowerPoint? I wanted to know you guys. So we're going to talk about the solstices, and what this is really all about is the sun. You know, I mean, there's a lot of. I'll send this to you if you're looking to get it, Minister Mahdi. I'll send it to you.
Oh, I would love to. Thank you. Thank you. You're a good man. I appreciate you, brother.
You know, I'll throw rocks while you reload. You know. So.
All right, that's what we'll do. Together we'll make it work.
That's right. That's right. So these solstices is all about the sun. Anybody been to Kemet? Know where these pictures are taken?
Is this Denderon?
You know what? It's not, but you're warm.
It's on the West Bank.
It's actually Edfu.
Edfu, okay. Down there at that hot place.
Yeah. So this is Edfu, and you know, these on the sides of the walls is what is being shown is the chronicles of the kings. You know, the divided up into the so-called dynasties. And that's but I put this on here because of the sun. So it's all about the sun. And so speaking of another person that we should recognize, Reverend Boroshango.
Ishakamusa Barashango.
Ishakamusa Boroshango, and he wrote this book. Actually wrote two. He may have, he actually has another book, but with respect to holidays, he has these two books. European Holidays, A Mental Genocide, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And so in Volume 1, it basically covers Misgiving Day and the Merry Mess. So, and this is Reverend Boroshango here with us. So, yeah, and I believe that Baba Tayemba attended this church. And this is in Washington, D.C. It was the name of his church was the Shrine of the Black Messiah. Shrine of the Black Messiah. So this is me being introduced to Santa Claus, and and I look like, you know, get me away from this. Like,
that is right. You look a little reluctant there. Your intuition was kicking in already.
Right there, yeah. I don't know how old I was. I think I was like 3. So there's this book by it's not Godfrey Higgins. I can't even think of it, but the reason why I included this, I have the book. It in this the flaming sword which guarded the tree. This kind of looks like a Christmas tree, you know. When I'm and this is from the Book of the Beginnings in Kemet, and so I included this in there. It'll come to me who it is, but so if we go into biblical things, we see, all right, the angel announced to the virgin, you know, that she's going to have a baby, and this is found in Luke 1:26 through 38. You know, the angel comes to Mary and says, hey, you're going, even though you haven't been with a man, you're going to have a baby. And so that happens in the 6th month. It says, and in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God to the virgin and you know, gives her that announcement. So when we say the 6th month, are we talking about the Gregorian calendar or the Julian calendar? Probably not. We're talking about the Hebrew calendar. And so if we look at the Hebrew calendar, we find it going in Elul, which is in the constellation of Virgo in the Gregorian calendar. And then if we count 9 months around, we come to Sivan, or May, June timeframe. Oddly enough, the person, one of the Imhoteps, the one that we are knowing about, the one that he is born in the book by Hurry on Imhotep. They have his birth date at May 31st. So here, this is really, I know this is kind of getting in the weeds, but okay, if we talk about the 6th month, we're talking about Elul, which is actually in the Virgin, and we count around 9, we come to Sivan, May, June timeframe. So I found this, I've been seeing this a lot, and I don't know if you can see this clearly, but this is found, and before I wanted to present it, I presented this before. Before I wanted to present, I wanted to make sure that it's accurate. And I sent it to my friend in Kemet, Fahmy, and he wrote back, hey brother, it looks like the birth scene from Hatshepsut's temple. There's another typical one at Luxor. I can't read the cartouche. Do you have a higher resolution picture? And, you know, I didn't. And so he says, no problem. I'm always on the run away from home. So he has a database where he could look this up. But he said, yeah, this is authentic. And so what's happening here is we have Chahudi announcing to the virgin that she's going to have a baby. And then we have Kanum and Heru giving onks to the nostrils of the virgin, impregnating her. And then she is here on the birthing stool with all these attendants. And then she gives birth to the baby, and everybody's giving adoration. So the story is very ancient. So we have to be careful on our sources. Beware Europeans telling us history, because it's always convoluted, twisted, changed, etc. So in Reverend Borishango's book, he talks about, this is actually coming right out of his book. He talks about the different dates when they were trying to figure out what the date was. They had all these different dates: December 25th, January 8th, February 2nd, March 25th, or 29th, April 19th, May 20th, May 29th. So they didn't know when Yeshua or Jesus was born. And then there's some talk about that Christ, some believe that Santa Claus came from the Kemetic Neter Bes, and he was the patron of children. It said Bes was said to live at the North Pole, working year-round to produce toys for children that had been good and obedient to their parents. Where have we heard that before? So this is the Neter Bes. And then there's the whole thing about Saint Nick. Old Saint Nick. Santa Claus never existed. The concept of giving on Christmas was started with Saint Nicholas, AKA Old Saint Nick the Moor. And he's said to have been born March 15th, 2070. And none of these representations of Saint Nick look like the one that I was introduced to, you know, and he was a Moor. They called any Black person a Moor in Europe in a certain period, particularly between 711 AD and 1491 AD. And so this is the original Saint Nick, and you find various pictures of him, and this is the way he looked. So I want to end here, and I want to share this this with you, and this is actually, okay, this is getting into the weeds, but this is where this whole time period relates to what's within. So there's the Christ within. And in the brain, in the cranium, there is the cerebrum, and the cerebrum in the claustrum. And in particular, the claustrum is sitting in the middle of the head. Virtually from the claustrum, there's a secretion, brain fluid, and this fluid is an oil. In ancient times, this fluid is called Christos. It's called the Christ. It's a beautiful fluid that comes from the cerebrum and pours down the spinal cord and goes down the spinal cord, and it reaches the sacral plexus right next door to the sacrum, which are the 5 second bottom-most fused vertebrae at the bottom of the spinal column. The bottom portion of the spinal column is called the coccyx. Then just above the sacrum, 5 fused bones. So the sacral plexus is connected to the sacrum, and the fluid comes down from the cerebrum and pours down the spinal cord and comes to the bottom cord. Now, the claustrum is otherwise known as the holy claustrum, simply because of this beautiful oil. This claustrum that is produced and secreted, the word secret actually comes from the word secretion. And the sacrum is part of the secret. As the secretion passes down the spinal cord and reaches the sacrum, this is the marvelous way our body has been designed. The spinal cord basically is an extension of the brain. It also does thinking. And you see, the holy claustrum is otherwise known as the Santa claustrum, because this fluid goes down the sacred plexus, is a sacred fluid, and this is where Santa Claus comes down and brings, comes down the chimney and brings things from, and it is, so the Bible is a story of physical regeneration. And just to continue on, so what happens is this fluid, every month when the moon is in the sign where your son is born, every month a seed is planted in the solar plexus, which is above the sacred plexus, and that seed is an oil, the Christ which is born in Bethlehem. So let me stop right there. Guys, so what's happening is in your brain, there's some fluid that's secreted, and it's differentiated by the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. Pineal gland is the masculine, or Joseph. The pituitary gland is Mary. And then it forms a seed that goes down to the solar plexus, or in the stomach region, or Bethlehem. What does Bethlehem mean? Anybody know? Anybody? It means house of bread, your stomach. So it goes down and it goes all the way down the chimney or down the spinal cord. And then it rises up through, you know, proper practices, breathing, and it goes up the vertebrae. How old was Jesus when he was crucified? What was that, Cat?
34.
Almost.
32.
Almost. You guys are close. You're dancing all around it.
Must be 33.
33.
33. 33. And how many vertebrae do you have?
I'm guessing 33.
33. Does this sound familiar? And then it goes up the spinal cord and it's crucified. And crucified does not mean death. And where was Jesus crucified? At a place
On
called
Golgotha.
Golgotha. And what does
Skull.
Golgotha? The place of the skull.
Skull. Right.
Right. So this story is talking about something that happens in the physical body. This is what people, but you know, now we got, you know, Santa Claus, reindeer, you know, a rabbit's foot, Humpty Dumpty, you know, you got all these different things, but these are all symbolic and trying to tell you something that's scientific in your body. Okay, any questions or observations or things you want to ask or say before we go on?
My question is, who deciphered this information, this correlation between the physical body and the stories of Christmas and the Bible? Who deciphered that? Exercised that?
So there's a book. It's called The Word Made Flesh by Carey. Let me verify that. Let me just make sure that I am providing the correct information. Yes, so this book is called It's called God, Man, the Word Made Flesh by Carey Perry, C-A-R-E-Y, Perry.
Okay.
And also on YouTube, you can go and search. It's called search the Christ Within, and the person that is talking about it, his name is Santos Bonacci. Santos Bonacci.
Okay, thanks, Minister.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions, comments? All right. Have you guys tuned out? Are the Z's coming? I don't see anybody's face, but Katabasi. Have you guys just gone on, doing your thing in the background and letting Emma ramble?
Oh, no, we're still here. But it's kind of busy answering my question. I'm like, who put all this stuff together? What analogies? Gosh, this is information.
Yeah, let's see if I can send this book to me, and let's see if I can share it. And I'll, yeah, this is really fantastic. This is really just. Let's see, did it come out? Let's see. Where did it show up here? Okay, I think I'll need to send it again. But yeah, that is I know I've been kind of dealing with this information since about 2015. Excuse me. Yeah, 2015. I've been
Well,
looking.
this is the first time you had an opportunity to share it?
No, I share it with people periodically. This just seems like the right time to share it. Let me send it again. For some reason it didn't go through, but I like to share things. Me and Keedy, we're on the same. Me, Keedy, Amadi, we're. Oh God, it went to the trash. Let me try it one more time. I'm trying to get it right in here.
And you all really do share so much information and wisdom. I appreciate it. I was amazed.
Yeah, we believe in
When
spreading the
was this
wealth.
assessment
Spread the
done?
wealth.
Okay,
When was
so
this assessment done of
I'm gonna open. Let's see. There's something else too that I need to share since. All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, this other thing, the truth in pictures, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's still not active, but I saved these pictures years ago, so I still have them. So let me just go to them, and thank you for your patience. So what I was reading is something that Santos Bonacci was saying in the YouTube. So if you look, the Christ Within, and there are a few translations or things on that, and the guy's name is Santos Bonacci. But here's one of the pictures from that. So here, and talks about the brain. Okay, and then here's the book, The Word Made Flesh. This is the book, and it's kind of it's large, and these are the, let me make this bigger. These are the contents. He's explaining these things, looking at the optic thalamus, the central or third eye, the marvelous story of Joseph and Mary, the word of God revealed, explanation of turning water into wine. Oh, by the way, and I shouldn't be saying this as a minister, but when you return the oil, this is where tithing comes from, because you're supposed to return 10% to the Lord. Okay, I see your eyes are glazing over, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep on with the PowerPoint. So unless there's any questions.
Could you show the name of that book again?
Sure.
God Man.
Sure. Let's see. So this is the book, God Man, the Word Made Flesh, by Dr. George W. Carey and Inez Eudora Perry. And
How
they're
do you spell
all,
the last name? Perry?
yes. Can you see
George
that?
Perry?
Can you see it on the screen?
No.
You can't. Can
No.
anybody else see it?
We saw it the first time. It was on there. Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Oh, you know what? I stopped sharing my screen. Let me do that again. I'm sorry. Sorry, no wonder you couldn't see it. All right. Can you see it now?
I can't see his name. Oh, George Carey, Carey. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess Kitty and Amadi, that a lot is always going on in Los Angeles. This was published in 1920. The Chemistry of Life Company, Los Angeles, California, 1920.
Wow.
They're also authors of The Wonders of the Human Body and the Chemistry of Life.
What is their background?
Don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll leave that to you to investigate. All right. Any questions? Any observations? How many? This is new. How many that never heard this information before?
No, I never heard it.
Yeah.
I never heard it either.
Yeah. It's very very interesting. And when you see the correlation, you say, oh wow. The claustrum secretes this oil, goes down your spinal column. It's differentiated in your pineal gland. The pineal gland is the masculine. It's the electro, and the pituitary gland is the feminine part. It's Mary, and it's the magnetic. So it's electromagnetic. It forms a seed that goes in your solar plexus. You know, and the solar plexus is right at your stomach, and that's where the Christ is born in Bethlehem, the house of bread. It goes down to the sacred plexus. It comes back up the 33 vertebrae and is crucified at the place of the skull.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every time I say it, it's like I get chills just saying it. Wow, really? You know, because if you've ever done or read or practiced any kind of Kundalini practice, breathing, you know, you're trying to get the serpentine, the earth, wind, and fire told us about it when they say, tell the story of morning glory all about the serpentine fire. Surely as life begun, you will as one battle with the serpentine fire. That's what they were talking about. It's in the song. Okay.
Now, just to add to the conversation, just to kind of,
Yes.
even give another perspective.
Please.
So there's also the aspect of, the principle of correspondence, as above, so below. And so, you have these various patterns, like, for example, a spiral, like you see how the atom looks, right, in the microscopic, right? But then you also see the solar system looking similar, in the macrocosm, right? And so also, you have these patterns of life or reality that repeat themselves in various planes of existence. So I just wanted to throw that out there too, that there are also eternal patterns, universal patterns that, also are happening too. I mean, just wanted to throw that thought out there too.
Minister Amadi, I have that picture of the, but I just can't find it right. I wish I had the presence of mind to put that out, but yeah. Exactly. That's correspondence, as above, so below.
Right.
Yeah. As above, so below. All right. Moving on. So I want to go back above and talk about, let's see. I want to talk about the purpose. So what we're talking about today is the solstice. The solstice is an astronomical event that occurs twice a year. The tilt of the Earth's axis is most inclined towards or away from the sun. In the Northern Hemisphere, the summer solstice occurs on the 21st of June when the sun is at the highest point in the sky and the longest day of the year. In the Southern Hemisphere, the winter solstice occurs on December 21st, when the sun is at the lowest point in the sky and the shortest day of the year. The purpose of the solstice is to mark the change in seasons. The summer solstice marks the beginning of summer, while the winter solstice marks the beginning of winter. The solstice also has cultural, religious significance and is celebrated by many cultures around the world. So that's just, we could just stop right there. That's what the solstice is.
And is that first paragraph accurate?
Say again.
It says in the Southern Hemisphere, the winter solstice occurs on 21st December. That should say in the Northern Hemisphere, the winter solstice, while in the Southern Hemisphere, that is the longest day of the year.
But the Southern, it is doesn't it say that? Let's see. In the Northern Hemisphere, when the summer solstice occurs on the 21st, when the sun is at the highest point in the sky and the longest day of the year. And in the Southern Hemisphere, the winter solstice occurs on the December 21st, when the sun is at its lowest point and is the shortest day of the year.
Yeah, where it says Southern, that should be Northern. And if they're going to say the Southern, then they have to change the shortest to the longest and the highest.
I see what you mean, yeah. But just essentially, the longest day of the year is June, depending on from year to year, is June 21st, 22nd, sometimes 23rd. That's your longest day of the year. And then the shortest day of the year is today, December 21st. It's the shortest day of the year.
In the Northern Hemisphere.
In the Northern Hemisphere, yes. And in Kemet, so some friends in Kemet, they live there, and they have posted this. These are the winter solstice in Kemet at Waset, and here some people are actually recognizing it and celebrating it. And here we go. So This is an astronomical representation. It's all about the sun, and it's the way the earth is facing the sun, which gives you these solstices and equinox.
It's that 23-degree angle of the earth axis.
That's right. That's right. And that's so at different times in the earth's journey through the cosmos, so at one point it was 24 something degrees, and that was during the time when the Sahara, Dr. John Heinrich Clarke points out that saying Sahara desert is redundant because Sahara means desert. When it was 24 something degrees, that's when the Sahara was a lush place. So it's all, we're very affected by the sun. Our consciousness, as Brother Katabasi was saying. So we see this symbol here on the left a lot. You know, you see it on churches, but you also see it in other cultures, Mesopotamian culture, Indian culture. And what this is talking about in the Bible is the four Gospels. The four stories, what they're talking about, the sun. And it's really talking about autumn, winter, spring, and summer. Everybody see that?
I don't see it, but I'm interested to see you make the connection.
Okay, so on the right, we know that we have 4 seasons. You know, we have autumn. We're today, it's the first day of winter. We're going into winter in the spring equinox, March 21st, 22nd, 23rd, depending on the year, goes into spring, and then June, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, goes into summer. So that's what these things are codified. That's what these are talking about. Why don't they mention the other apostles? Because they're really talking about the seasons. And communion is really eating the sun. So, you know, okay, I grew up in 2 churches, and one of them was Catholic, and you know, they were passing out these wafers, and on the wafers is that symbol. And here we see Jesus saying, you know, you need to take this and eat my body, which is the sun.
He'd get a Me Too movement saying that these days.
Stop it. And here, you know, you go to the Vatican, they're showing you. These are the different popes, the recent popes. They're showing you. It's all about the sun. This statue is in the Vatican. Here's the Virgin clutching the sun. It's all about the sun. There's this book, and I was listening to Jordan Maxwell. This is another person that you all might want to write down. His name is Jordan Maxwell, Jordan Maxwell. And he was talking about this book, The Sun in the Church, Cathedrals as Solar Observatories. See, they knew. They knew. It's just the unsophisticated, uninitiated masses that don't know. See, it's all about the sun. So here, this is at Vatican Square. And this here, now, the Greek word for this symbol, and you know, they just showed the World Cup, and it was in Argentina, and they had one of these right there in Argentina where they were celebrating You know, they were welcoming the Argentine soccer team. And they had one of these. Now, the Greeks called this obelisk. Modern chematologists say Tekken or Tekkenu. The indigenous wisdom keepers refer to this as Ibra, or Ib is the house, excuse me, the heart of Ra. It's a sundial. It tells you what time of day it is. So here, this is in the Vatican at the center. And when the Pope came to visit the United States, they set this up in some baseball field. It's the sun again. It's all about the sun. These are, I wrote down these, excuse me, I didn't write these down. I saved these. These are the sons of God or heroes that played a role in stories which mirror a lot of the attributes of Jesus and were worshiped long before. So you have Krishna, Buddha, Wasir or Osir, Odin, Crete, Zoroaster, Baal, Indra, all the Tammuz, Attis, all these different, Thor, Jesus of the Druids. All of these people associated with the sun. And when you see a Christmas tree, you have the star at the top and the planets around it. That star is the central star that all of the constellations go around and form what's called the great year that we talked about a couple of times back, 25,000 some odd years to make one revolution around, or excuse me, orbit around the great sun, which forms the great year. They rounded up to 26,000. So there's my unhinged presentation this evening. Any questions, anything open? Bobby, you came in a little bit after us. Is there anything that was confusing or things that you want to talk about? You guys are such a lively bunch.
Well, I noticed today is the last day of Sagittarius. Does that have any relationship to all of this?
Well, let me see if I can find my picture. Okay, I'm going to send this picture to myself. Hold your point. I want to send this picture to me, and I can get it. Let's see here. Did it come up? Oh, here it is. Okay.
I would think, does it mean that our aim is sharpest today?
Well, there's something I want to show you. That's a very interesting point. I'm glad that you brought it up, because I shared this with someone a couple of days ago, and their spouse is a Sagittarius, and they had made mention of it. It's coming to me. It's coming up pretty soon.
Just heard it.
I just heard it too, and here it is. Okay. So here and here. So let me minimize that. come back. All right. That, and I know you can't see what I'm doing, but so let me share my screen in order to answer your question. So I got this a map of the universe like in 1987, and it has, can't really see it really clear, but it has all the known galaxies. It has the where the black holes are. It has the red giants, the super giants, and here's that central star that all the constellations go around. And here at the bottom, you see Sagittarius. So I'm going to go to a close-up that I took of that. So can you see that? There's Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is shooting its arrow at the galactic center. And right in the tail of Scorpio is a black hole. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, I see it.
So that doesn't specifically answer your question, but with respect to Sagittarius, look at what in the constellation, look what it's aiming at. It's
That
aiming
galactic
at.
center is also today being the solstice.
Yes. Actually, no. I'm sorry. It was a couple of days ago. It was a couple of days ago, and that's why the person posted it, and they posted this diagram. Yeah, so Sagittarius is very well. I mean, every sign it has its own special, unique qualities, but Sagittarius is important at this time of the year. We're leaving Sag, going into Capricorn.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? I know this is. I'm not. One of the reasons why I don't talk about this a lot, because I'm not an expert on it. I've looked at it for years, and there's stuff I'm still trying to gather and to learn about it. But I thought I would share what I know or think I know. All right. Any other questions? I really like this aspect that we're talking about, the internal aspect here. So truth in pictures, it's showing the pineal gland is Joseph. Yeah. And the other part is Mary.
I don't
Well, I
know
think
what
it's
that.
very interesting. I think I'm glad that you're presenting it. You have spoken about this before,
Yeah.
but probably not with the depth that you've gone into it tonight.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's great. And again, I think it reflects these perennial patterns that repeat themselves at all levels. And and so when we take these scriptures literally, it's okay, but what happens is that you kind of cut yourself off because they're not supposed to be the only thing. It's just like the first step, and then you go deeper and deeper, and as you go deeper into your understanding of these deeper meanings, then you're able to connect with different dimensionalities of reality because you're going deeper. So why would you stay in kindergarten?
Well, yeah. Well, so this is what I was saying the other night, Keedy, and this is another PowerPoint. I really do believe that this is the way that we need to look at the scriptures. So we need to take into account that there's a literal thing that, and this is what people fight over. You know, this is what can get you killed. You know, people fighting over the literal meaning. And then there are some historical things that are true about the script, but then there's a cosmological thing going on. There's a cosmological thing. There's a symbolic metaphysical thing. There's a mythological allegorical thing. There's an anatomical thing going on, which is what we kind of touched on tonight. And then there's an anagogical thing, which has to do with ascension. I should make sure that's spelled right. And this is what I believe we all are striving for. We're all striving to ascend, to return, to tithe, to take our 10% back up to the Lord, which is in the head. All right. Anything else? Darnisha, I feel like I didn't answer your question, right? I feel bad about it. I feel like I didn't answer you fully, but you know, when you said Sagittarius, and I just was talking to somebody, and I went into that tangent.
I was just, you know, wondering what if there was any. What I noticed was that it ended on the solstice, and that was just my note. Just was there any significance to that? It ended on the solstice, and I almost wanted to say, yeah, when you point out that galactic center, but then you messed up my aha moment by saying no, it was a few days ago. So that
well, yeah. So you know, I'd have to go on Facebook to see when this person. No, I'll do it because I really want.
No, don't.
No. I now you've got me interested, and I want to.
And is the last day of Sagittarius always the solstice?
Not necessarily. No.
Not necessarily. That just happens. So yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Minister Imhotep, don't let me take you down the rabbit hole.
Okay, because I'll go there.
I'll bother you another day.
I'll go there. Yeah, let's talk offline. Go ahead, Amadi, were you gonna say something?
So would you say then that, you know, just interested in, you know, people's thoughts about this, then would we say then that the reason for the season is really the winter solstice? Would we say that, you know, or what do you think about that? If someone asked, okay, so I'll ask you this, Mr. Imhotep, what would you say is the reason for the season?
So the reason for the season, and we kind of did that. I don't know if I can't remember if you were there. If you were there a couple of nights ago when we were talking about this, the reason for the season is the sun. You know, that's really it. This is okay. Here, I'll share this slide from what we did on Thursday. And this is the reason for the season. Yeah, I'm going to make it bigger. All right. So the reason I actually entitled that "The Reason for the Season."
Right, you did. Okay, I remember that now that you mentioned it.
You know, Doris's grandfather. You know, he would, you know, around this time of year, he would be walking through the house and he would say, "Jesus is the reason for the season." You know, and he would, you know, so this is the reason for the season. So it's this sun going into a dormant period for 3 days. And at that time, the stars in Orion align up and point to Sirius, the star in the east. It's the brightest star in the sky. This is happening at the Southern Cross, where the sun appears to be crucified. And then December 25th is the first day to noticeably lengthen after the winter solstice. And here it is again. We have this picture here, but in Kemet, this is the way that they explained it, interpreted. You have the Jed. Whoops, didn't mean to go back that far. You have the Jed, and you have Aset, Nebhet, it's using these Greek words. And then years later, you have, this story, and here, but here, this Jesus has the sun around it. Go ahead, Amani.
So then could we say then, just to be a little more specific then, could we say then that the reason for the season is the symbolic birth of the sun, S-U-N?
Yes.
The symbolic birth of the S-U-N, not necessarily the S-O-N.
Yes, we can. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for helping me to wrap my brain around that.
Yeah, and again, I'm trying to wrap my brain around it still. I mean, it's something that you have to. It's just like, okay, we will say we talk about the 7 principles of the Nguzo Saba, but that's something that you just can't focus on during Kwanzaa time. If I just did that at Kwanzaa time, I would not be able to remember Imani, Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Ujamaa, Nia Kuumba. I could not tell you that Umoja means unity in the family, community, nation, and race. Kujichagulia, to define, name, create, and speak for ourselves. You have to deal with this all the time. And the same thing with this astronomical and anatomical thing. You have to deal with this all the time. You just can't meditate. Oh, I think I'll meditate today. And then 6 months later, I think I'll meditate. You have to be doing it on a continual basis. What do they say? Practice makes perfect.
Yes.
And so you have to do that. So I know that from watching Kitty's Facebook page, I know that he does a lot of push-ups. He just doesn't just get in there and I'm just gonna do. No, he works up to doing, what did you say, 120?
Today was 200.
200 push-ups. My
One
God,
set.
man.
One set.
Yeah. And so you have to work up to that. You have to practice that, So it's just like anything. I was watching, I'm really kind of enamored now with Mbappe, the brother from France. His father's Nigerian, Cameroon. His father is like a great coach. He's not only coached Mbappe, but he's coached others. And he started at 2, going in the locker room. There's a reason why Steph Curry is like he is. He started with his dad. He how many shots does he have to take a day in order to be at the 3-point line in a stressful situation, make the shot, and then he doesn't even look if it's going in. He knows it's going in, and he gets back ready for defense. It's because we have to practice. We have to, what we say we're about, we have to practice this. You know what I saw yesterday? I saw something I thought I would never see. I was so amazed. So I was looking at the TV, the guide, the schedule, and it had Imhotep versus Wheeler. I said, Imhotep versus Wheeler? So I recorded that. And you know what that was? That's a charter school in Philadelphia called Imhotep Charter School. It's a high school, and they're ranked 10th in the country in basketball. And I was listening to the announcers, and they were saying Imhotep is in the lead now by 10, and it was just every time they made a basket, they would call Imhotep's name. Mm-hmm. I've been dealing with Egyptology since I was 12. And I still don't understand it all. I'm learning something new all the time. And sometimes I get into arguments with people, but I really don't like to argue. I really don't. It's a drag. It's a downer, because I know that we're all in varying degrees of ignorance. And we want to prove to the other person how much I know. And people will argue you down. My God. They'll argue you down on something, because I went through this. I don't know if you all went through this. And I know if somebody sees this on YouTube, I'm gonna get some nasty notes. But at one point, people were all saying Hotep. And then I'm not gonna call the teacher's name, but then a teacher came along and he had everybody saying Hetep. But we're arguing over 3 consonants, HTP, and some Egyptologists. By the way, Egyptology was formed to distort the truth. Some Egyptologists have said, okay, we'll put in the vowels for you. So one school says O, the other school says E, and we want to argue with people. We want to show how much we know.
Yeah, when I took a little bit of Medunetter with Sister Riketti Amen, that's what helped me to get past all that, because she said, don't nobody really know how it was pronounced. She said, it's okay, however you want to do it, because none of us really know. So that kind of helped really resolve a lot of my, issues about that.
Oh man, I was writing to, I wrote to somebody, this is where these things happen on Facebook. So I'm in all these different groups. And so I made a comment, and this guy, oh man. Well, I will make I know we're kind of going off the rails here, but one time I introduced Rahu Nefer Amen. And he was at KVIE here in Sacramento. And Bobby, you were there. It was Bobby's organization.
At the conference, AAPH conference, yeah.
African Americans for Balanced Health. And so I have a friend, and I'm going to call his name. I don't think of mine. His name is Kofi Kandwani, and he's a really good friend of mine. And he was really into Rahu Nefer Amen, Winter's camps and a lot of things. And the way Kofi would say his name, because okay, his name is Shechem. He would say Shechem Ra Shechem, which is supposed to be King of Kings or something like that. And so that's what I had in my mind. And so when I introduced him, I said, Rahu Nefer Amen, Shechem Ra Shechem. And one of his students came up to me, behind the stage, and he says, it's Shechem Ur Shechem. And I was like, oh man. Okay, I don't want to denigrate anybody's name. I understand that, but okay, let's give each other a break. Because as I thank you for saying that, Minister Amadi, because nobody really knows. If you look at the Coptic, they're pronouncing it one way, and that's supposed to be, and there's a book, it's called Exiled Egyptians. Exiled Egyptians, and in that book, the person that's writing, his name is, it begins with a G. Anyway, in that he's saying what needs to happen is people need to go to, like around the countryside, particularly in the southern part, because people are still speaking the Medu Neter, or the ancient Comitian or Kemetic language right now to this day, but the Egyptologists haven't bothered to research them to let you know what's up. And why did I get on that? I don't know. How did I get on that, guys? I'm on a soapbox. I'm sorry. You know, I am a minister. I am a preacher. So you know, sometimes I get wound up. Mama Rose, help me come back in. Let me calm down. We have about 10 minutes left.
Just keep on going. You in.
I agree. And the sun is shining,
Mhm.
even though it's dark.
That's right. Someplace the sun is shining. That's right. That's right. It's morning somewhere. You know? That's right. That's right. All right. Well, I think this is going to, well, next week, we're going to be live at the Wackford Center here in Elk Grove, and we're going to Zoom. It's going to be it's going to start at 6 Pacific, and also on Monday, December 26th, Umoja, we're going to be on Zoom, on this very Zoom. It's going to be a Zoom Kwanzaa, and I'm going to put the two flyers for it in the chat, and I'd like for you all to help me out advertising, even though they say that oh well, no, I shouldn't say they say, but the place that we're using, they're only going to allow 200 people. Okay, so leave it 3, those of you in Oakland, you know, because I'm not going to allow them to turn you away, if it, you know, but it's going to be tough, okay? Because I don't know, I have no idea how many people are going to be there. Sometimes, well, most of the time we get a lot of people, you know, at our Kwanzaas, and I hope to see some of you there, either on Zoom or there live in person.
I thought that was Oakland Kwanzaa was the 26th.
It is. It is. It's the one on Zoom.
But what you just said is the 26th. So, but it's in Sacramento.
Okay, so let me back up. So hold on. Let me share these flyers. So this is the one for the 26th. Thank you, Mama Darnisha. And it has the location, which is this Zoom room, and the password. Okay, so that's Monday, the 26th. And then on Wednesday, the 28th, it's going to be at the Wackford Center on Bruceville Road in Elk Grove at 6. Okay. Thank you. Sometimes I can just get to going and may say the wrong dates. Thank you.
Baba, do you remember what date Baba Ustadi is having?
Yes. So I just talked to Ustadi. Let's see. He sent he sent.
This is the 30th.
It's the 30th, and let's see. It is at 893 89th Street, I believe. Let me just verify that.
I think I just printed his poster too. Let me get it.
Okay, yeah. So Darnisha sent me this. Let me see if I can bring that up and put that in the chat. Or maybe are you doing it, Darnisha?
I'm trying to remember what it was I sent. Let's see.
They're gonna honor Sister McKinney.
Yeah.
It's at Ustadi's place, right?
Yes.
It's at 89.
No, it's
893.
983.
Is it
89th Avenue.
Okay.
983 89th Avenue. 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock sharp.
Atia Full, is that Baba Ustadi's place?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
And that's going to be by Papo.
Yes. All right. Okay, I would like to leave you all with this one picture, well, maybe two. This was a special day. All of these people went to Kemet. No, just kidding. We took this picture at an anniversary a couple of years ago, and then we just kind of superimposed the pyramids. So I can't see. Oh yeah, here you are, Mama Fu. You can.
Oh yeah, I see me.
Yeah, there you are. There's Bobby. There's Bobby there, and John and Saraswati. Minister Ron is helping this little girl, so you can't see her clearly, but there's Ustadi there, and Shango, and Bamandali, and AJ, all the beautiful people.
What a beautiful community.
Yeah. So now I've asked Kitty to help us out this July to help us out with the dinner or the refreshments. So also we did this one too. I don't know which one I like better, but here we are. Yeah. Minister Alicia, Stiley, Michael Harris, Bauman Daly, Minister Sidney, the Rahoteps, they had just gotten married.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Who's this right here in the white?
Is that Mama Rose?
I don't think that's
Mama. Looks like Mona, Sister
Mona.
That's
Sister Mona.
Mona.
That's Sister Mona, okay.
Yeah.
Sister Mona. Okay.
I said Rose, I meant Mona.
She has on her mask, okay.
Where's Mama Akanke? She was there. Because that's from your anniversary at the park.
Yes. Where is she? Let's see. There's Mama Khan. Oh, here she is. She's right here. She has on her mask.
Yeah, now.
There she is. There she is, right there. And there's Iman, John, yeah, and trying to think his name. Oh God.
You don't remember who he is, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Paris?
You look
Paris, yeah, Paris. Yeah, Paris, yeah. Right, and there's I think this is Ty Imba back here. Yeah. Anyway, so it was a great picture. Nice history of events. All right. Well, Sister Judy has just joined us, and so now we're going to leave. See you, Judy. Bye.
Greetings to everyone. I'm sorry, I had a babysitting event tonight with my granddaughter.
Well, that's a very precious duty. That's a very precious.
I'm gonna have to listen to the recording, but I had to show up. Better late than never.
Well, thank you for joining us. And as we say goodbye, here's our Kwanzaa video.
That was lovely.
All right, and that music is this is a very nice Kwanzaa album. It's by this group called Blue Salim. Blue Salim. So if you go on iTunes, or even if you go to YouTube and type in Blue Salim Kwanzaa album, you'll find that music. All right. Hey, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you for helping us to close out the year. good questions, good observations on the winter solstice, guidance and protection. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing. I'm gonna get better at explaining it. I think the more I talk about it, the better I'll get. And I'll see you next time. Kitty, are you on tomorrow? You're muted, you're muted.
Okay, you mean my broadcast?
Yes.
Oh, yes, yeah, I will be on tomorrow. I have a wonderful series I'm doing tomorrow. We're going to be focusing on making Africa's case in the global climate debate. This is our program we call Tech and Future Talk. And the billionaire Mo Ibrahim, who's the founder of the Mo Ibrahim Foundation for African Leadership, has put together the African position paper that was presented at the recent summit there in Egypt. And it's very, very different from what the Europeans have put forward. I have always contended that unless African leaders are at the table for discussions about this thing called climate change, then don't expect anything brilliant or new or redemptive to come out of the European capitalists. So we're going to be presenting that paper, and it's really a very profound document.
Okay, so that's 9 o'clock tomorrow?
9 o'clock on the West Coast, that's 12 noon for our East Coast listeners, and 8 p.m. East Africa time.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone. One love, one heart.
One love.
Uncle Jobs, Neb, life, prosperity, and health. Happy solstice. All right.